What's up, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Truck Parking Clubhouse. I'm your guy, known everywhere on the internet as Lombard Trucking, aka Michael Lombard. Glad to have you guys back here on another beautiful Monday. I hope you've had a phenomenal weekend as we've charged our way into a new month. Happy August. We're headed into the big dog days of summer, as I'd like to call them. Every Monday, just a quick reminder before we get rocking and rolling. Again, the Taillights newsletter drops right in your inbox where we cover some close hot button topics in the trucking industry. This week, we're talking about, it's kind of a follow-up from Taillights from a couple of weeks ago about the feds greenlighting more robots on the roads and what's gone into that. Also, some new data from Trucker Path talking about best and worst states for truck parking, and that's public and private, as well as some freight market updates, more partner content, the whole galore. It's a home base. It's a driver-focused newsletter for you guys. Drops in your inbox every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Time. But other than that, let's dive right into this week's Clubhouse. Got a very special guest. You may have seen his videos on there. He's got some phenomenal drone videos. He's had some issue with social media companies in the past, and we're going to dive into that. But I'm excited to bring on a stage. His name is Steven, and he drives under the authority of Big Fag Truckin. How we doing, brother?
Pretty good, brother. How you doing?
And it's phenomenal to have you here on the Clubhouse on a beautiful Monday night. Where are you tuning in from right now?
I'm actually in Alexandria, Virginia, where I was born at my grandparents' house. Just with my truck being down, I'm just trying to make the best of it, visit family while around. It's in Florence, South Carolina right now. So I visited my brother and his family in Raleigh, and now I'm in basically Washington, D.C., Southern Washington, D.C.
Well, luckily you're safe and sound, and we'll walk right up into to your recent endeavors. But I mean, let's dive right in, man. How did you get into trucking in the first place?
It's honestly something I never saw myself doing. My best friend now and at the time, well, I'm at the time and now, he told me he told me the money that he was making in it. And me back then, I was like huge into fitness and I did some bodybuilding shows, so I never wanted to get into trucking because I know how unhealthy and stuff it is. But when he told me, like, because I was like living paycheck to paycheck and struggling financially, even being a personal trainer and everything. And he told me, "Oh man, I'm making like $4,000 in a week, this, that, and yada yada." So I'm just like, "That's good money, man." And that's realistically what got me into trucking. This was in 2018. I got my permit by myself. Did everything I needed to do, and then the company that I first worked with it was his company that he was running with, and called Hirschbach. I'm sure a lot of people know that company. I went there just with my permit. I was like the last person they took with a permit, and I got trained by my best friend for about 8 weeks and passed my CDL test on my first try, and the rest is history.
Awesome. So how many years total you've been driving?
What is that, 2018, 26? What is it, about 8 years now? It'll be 8 years September of this year. Too long.
8 years going on it. So you're doing personal training beforehand?
Yeah, I was doing personal training, and then I had like a side, believe it or not, I had a side, like a part-time job that I was doing where I was helping a company called Armalini deliver flowers to florist locations throughout the DFW area when I was living there too. So I kind of talked to a bunch of truck drivers there too, and they kind of told me the money they made too. So that was somewhat of an influence on it all as well. But yeah, man, I used to be huge into fitness, man. Even during COVID, when I first bought my truck, when I got my truck in 2020, when they had all the gyms shut down, I was working out in my truck, man. I dropped like 30 something odd pounds, got my abs and everything, and then I got in a relationship and then fattened back up.
Well, hey, no, never say never. And if it's one guy to talk about when it comes to fitness, especially being over the road, you're in great company, and we love having those conversations with drivers, because living an active and healthy lifestyle is something I was really, really disciplined about when I was over the road. So it's great to hear about somebody who's keen into the fitness side of the industry, but also into trucking. So we're definitely gonna have to collab on something in the near future.
Yeah, yeah. Once I dropped this little extra weight that I put on, for sure.
But so you got your start with Hirschbach. How long? So you started up with them in 2018. So you rocked 2 years with them before you got your first truck.
No, no. I rocked with them for 11 months. I saved up about $28,000, and then I put $14,500 down on a truck with Lone Mountain Truck Leasing, and that's the truck I have now, which I paid off last year. And yeah, so I drove for 11 months, and I just went. I actually with Hirschbach, I was doing their lease purchase program, which I don't know how they are nowadays, but back then it was amazing because I probably averaged anywhere from like $1,800 to $2,300 bring home a week. So it was good back then. I don't know how I hear a lot of bad things about lease purchase programs and whatnot, but Hirschbach, they were doing it right.
Yeah, I'd say, especially in those days, like in that era of 2018, that's when I was really watching a lot of YouTube of drivers creating content. I was working in a warehouse at the time, and we had a few like smaller trucks, had a box truck and a rack body, and I talked to truck drivers a lot, and that's when I was sort of kind of, that's where I began to get evangelized into getting my CDL. And I remember watching guys talking about Hirschbach and lease purchase, and I know, yeah, I mean, things have changed over the year, and I really think when it comes to lease purchase in general, and to anybody listening who's thinking about lease purchase, I think much like COVID with everything, kind of threw a wrench into a lot. I mean, into multiple industries, not just trucking and beyond. And I think prior to COVID, lease purchases, I think they worked better for drivers in the end because the market wasn't as the volatility of the market wasn't what it was prior to COVID. It was still volatile. Trucking has always been. I've got friends who've had their own authority for 20 plus years and everything. It's not that the market was never not volatile, but the idea of lease purchases prior to 2020 seemed, at least just from what I see, purely anecdotal, that there was a little bit more success. It didn't seem quote as predatory, but as the market started to start to get more drivers, they've kind of changed, and I think a lot of more bad players have gotten into it, and it's kind of caused a rain. I think COVID kind of threw that stuff off, but that's really awesome that
Yep.
you're able to do it. So you got your truck, and did you start your authority right away, or kind of what was it like transitioning to that owner operator style?
Uh, it was interesting. I didn't get my own authority immediately, which I really wish I should have. I didn't know any better. I would have. But no, I ran under. It was okay though because I got to learn the game under a good friend of mine who's had his authority for like a good 5, 6, 7 years. So I ran under him for a year. I think I got like 80%, 80%, and he took 20, which is kind of high on the high end. But rates were good back then anyway, so it wasn't too bad. But yeah, I did that, and then I finally jumped the gun and got my own authority, and it's the best decision I ever made, getting 100% of the load. Yeah, about it was probably so I started in literally right before the COVID shutdown. I bought this truck. I remember flying to get my truck from North Carolina to go to Dallas. There was only like 3 people on the airplane. It was the wildest thing I've ever seen. And yeah, a year later, I ended up getting my authority. So, yep,
Dude, quite the storyline. And you're primarily hauling drive van, correct?
dry van. Yeah, at first I was doing refrigerated freight, and then I moved to dry van, and it's so much better. I cannot. I don't know how people do refrigerated freight.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what, because I mean I know people who do both, who are one truck owner operators haul refrigerated. What was your decision behind not sticking with refrigerated?
The long wait times is probably the biggest one. Delivering at 2 o'clock in the morning, it really interferes with my sleep. And I'm old now. I'm about to be 40, so sleep is extremely important to me. And then it's just I don't feel like it's worth the extra 30 to 40 cents per mile. Typically, is what you get on top of having more like equipment that you have to be reliable for. Like if the refrigerator, like if the reefer breaks down or something like that. There's not so many components on a drive van. It's just way less stressful.
Yeah,
The trucking industry is already stressful as it is.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more when it comes to that's I've said that quite often because I pulled drive in and I've done open deck and step in RGN. And when it comes to either or, like I tell people all the time, I was like, I'd stay away from reefer just from the work life balance standpoint
Yep.
of ever have some thoughts. This is the gentleman's name. His name is Steven, and that is his last name that he's wearing on the t-shirt. So when it came to starting your own authority, what made you what what went into your decision making on what you were going to name your company?
This actually happened with Hirschbach because I guess you get to name your own company. You actually start an LLC with Hirschbach whenever you were doing the lease purchase program, and it just came to my mind. I'm just like, I used to be pretty big back then. I'm not as big as I was back then, but I was like big fag trucking. I threw it by the guys, and they were like, this is crazy. Like, but I think it's going to pass because it's your name, and they can't do anything about it. And I'm like, well, that's like, I always joke, and I tell people I wanted to call it big truckin' fag, but but I probably would have never booked a load with that. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
I have the last name, man. I like to have fun with it, man. That's all. I mean, it seems harmless to me because I mean, I grew up with the last name. I have pretty thick skin, and it's just fun. Like I'm not, it's words. So yeah, and it's my last name. I'm not trying to dish anybody or anything like that. I just wanted to have fun with it because it's funny. It makes people laugh, you know. And in a industry that's stressful, man, a good laugh is good to have. You know, people always drive by me and they like stop and come back and take a picture of like my side where my business decal is, and I put the thumbs up. I'm like, yeah, well, enjoy it. It's just supposed to make you laugh. That's all.
yeah, I think it honestly, you couldn't have said it better. Everything in this industry does like, there's so much stress, there's so much going on with so many issues that those little things that you see, like even for other drivers out there, like to see that on a door handle and just be like, wait a minute, it just makes you double take, and it takes you out of
Right.
reality for a moment and does, and it could just be like, there's no way that could be real. There's no way
Yep.
that somebody can get away with this. And then they find out it's literally just your name.
Yep. Exactly. It's like this one company people tell me about over there in Denver. I think it is. It's a towing company, and I think it's called Camel Towing. It's freaking hilarious, man. It's like it's a legit company called Camel Towing. I'm just like, wow, that's funny.
Yeah, and and then obviously, yeah, you find out the owners are from, they have a pet camel or something. Or, yeah, you find out maybe they're from from another country that's as camels native to it. Be like, yeah, well,
Exactly.
that's a great
Could be a
animal.
million things. I don't know. That's funny though.
Yeah, that's a great, exactly. Nobody likes to get towed, but when you see camel towing showing up to
Like,
take
come
care of
tow my
business,
truck.
yeah, you know what, freaking pull her up, S-
Well,
set
yeah.
set it up. I love it. So you've been rocking with your authority for almost 6 years. What I gotta say, you're a single truck owner operator. What's it kind of been like navigating the market over over these last several years? I mean,
Oh my
to
god.
pull through on the other end, man. I give you, I tip the cap to that. You've done great. What was it like navigating through COVID and 2022 and the recession and now coming back out of it?
Yeah, no, no. We all know COVID was amazing. Rates were phenomenal. You can pretty much name your own rate. Reasonably. I mean, but yeah, there was so much money to be made there. I was with a dry van. There was weeks I was making like almost 12,000 gross. It was great. And then I remember 2023 hit, and it was like February of 2023, and that's when the rates just like smashed down. So my saving point for me when it came to that was I'm single. I kind of lived in my truck for like 11 months at one point, and I mean I wouldn't stay in my truck fully. I'd go to like I have family all on the East Coast, but my saving point was taking loads into New York City because I mean, I realized the rates like then versus now, and I probably would never take the rates I took back then. But in comparison to the rates from other things, it was just terrible. So like New York City kind of like saved me. Going to New York City kind of saved me in a sense, I guess, because I feel like back then compared to like I think the rates were like at $1.80 a mile, which is terrible. And I was probably almost getting around 3.75 to $4 a mile going into New York City. So Yeah, and then I think like 3 or 4 months ago, maybe a little bit less than that, once the fuel started to skyrocket, I kind of like I didn't drive because I was living in Midlothian, Texas. I didn't drive for like a month and a half to make sure, the rates caught up with the fuel because luckily for me, I know how to manage my money pretty well, and I can do that. But I got gas in Oklahoma City for like $2.80 a gallon. I filled it all the way up, thank God, right before it all went up, and I kind of ran local loads when I did need to make a little money or when I was bored until obviously the rates caught up with the fuel prices. And then I feel like the rates now are better than they were in COVID, which that's why I've been running so hard because I told myself after that 3.5 years of just like horrible rates, when I said when the rates get good again, man, I'm just gonna run until my wheels fall off, literally like they just did the other day. So yeah, I mean it was great, extremely tough, and now it's great again. And I think the tough times because I had no idea that the industry fluctuated like this because I started in 2020 and nobody told me, or else I would have ran hard during 2020. But yeah, it's a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, but I think you found the cheat code because you might be one of the first. And I've talked to hundreds of drivers over the last 6 years because I was over the road in 2020 as well, not as an owner operator. But you might be one of the first people who said, "Yeah, I willingly would just take loads to New York City." A lot of times and I remember when I was hawking load boards in 2022 as well, as rates started to teeter going into fall. It was red hot going to Colorado, but then you'd have to deadhead out. And I think Colorado
Yeah,
was like it was a huge dead zone. But the
terrible.
Northeast, if you're able to navigate the Northeast and kind of avoid tolls and bridges best you can, you're right. I mean, one of my good friends out of Phoenix, he took. I mean, and this guy's a grinder. He would take any and everything, park anywhere. But he did one USPS load in Manhattan, and he said never again. And normally, this guy doesn't. He'll do anything. Like he'll take the stuff that
Right.
people don't want. He's like, but Manhattan, no way, absolutely not. But you said, I'm going to Manhattan. I don't care.
Yeah, Manhattan's the easiest borough out of all of them too, because those streets are wide and easy. The only problem with Manhattan is the traffic. I mean, that's every part of New York though, is the traffic. But a lot of people don't like New York, not because it's not only because it's like tight and some of the docks are crazy, but it's the traffic, man. It's almost unbearable. It takes me sometimes from Jamaica, the JFK airport, because we're limited to what highways we can take. We can't take parkways. It takes me 2.5 hours to go like 15 to 20 miles sometimes to get out of New York. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was gonna
That's the
say
worst part about it.
with the traffic, do you what kind of truck do you own, and is it manual?
Oh, it's an automatic. It's
Oh,
a
okay.
2020 Volvo VNL 860, and it's an automatic. I'd prefer an automatic anyway, man. It's just a lot easier. I
I
know a
mean,
lot of people frown upon that, but the people that frown upon that always like to say, "Well, come on, and join me in New York City. Let's see how you do there, man."
that's exactly what I was gonna say. I mean, do it, yeah.
Yeah,
Ripping a manual, a 10 or 13 speed in the five boroughs, it's
it would
got to
be
be.
brutal.
You're just
Yeah,
it's a chiropractor. The chiropractor's best friend. He'd be like, your hips are freaking.
exactly.
He'd love to straighten out some people's hips from doing that. Yeah, that's got to be brutal.
Yep.
Well, I mean, only because I want to bring it up now because you post a lot of that New York City content with your drones. What got you into creating content? Like, were you making content from personal training, and you're like, well, I'm trucking now, so I guess I'll make some trucking content, or did it start while you were over the road?
I started doing like fitness and health stuff, and at first, and that was like in 2022, and then I think that was the first time I dealt with my it was YouTube channel, and my YouTube channel got shut down because of I had Big Fag Trucking LLC Fitness. So I'd imagine it was because of my business name, just like with Instagram and Facebook. But now what got me into actually making this particular kind of content was I'm pretty sure you've seen I've posted it numerous times. This place called in it's this place called the Parts Authority in the Bronx, where you have the blind side off of a busy street and then do that little alley dock and then go into this little tunnel that's like 2 football fields long before you actually get to the dock. And there's a lot of crap in there too. So I backed I backed in there the first time I ever did it, and I was like, man, people. I was just like, because I've done so many other crazier backs, but that was the craziest one, and I just like clicked in my head. I'm like, I got to show people like the crazy stuff. I want to say the crazy stuff I do out here in New York City, and that's really what drove me to create the content. And then I ended up doing that one three times. So I've done that place 4 times. I got it on video 3 times. And on my first Instagram, the third time I ended up doing, I think I just recently posted it again, just the drone footage. I did the blind side with no pull-ups off of a busy street with all these you kind of get used to it, the impatient drivers or whatever, but yeah, that reel ended up getting like, that was my first like huge reel. That got like 6.3 million views or something like that. And I was just like, I never expected it to get that many views or anything like that. But and then I got a bunch of other videos with like millions of views too. Not 6.3, but like 2, 3 million here and there. And then I had one recently that was in Long Island City, that little tight dock or whatever. That one is at like 9.4 million views right now. I never would imagine it would have. I mean, it's crazy because I'm like walking out and people are like, "Oh, you're that one guy." And I was like, it's a little scary, but I just wanted people to see like the crazy stuff that we put up with in New York City. Like, and I want people to respect truck drivers a little bit more because of the crap that we go through in some areas. And it's not just New York City, man. I've been in some crazy docks even outside of the city and other places as well. So it's not just limited to the city. But yeah, that's why I wanted to create the content, because I wanted people to see like the struggles that we go through. And then also backing is my favorite thing to do in trucking. I love backing up, and I don't like a standard dog is boring. I love challenging backs because it's fun to me. That's why I like to call New York City like my playground.
That's a good
That's
way.
why.
You're like, I think you might be one of the first. You're definitely in an extreme minority talking about New York City being the playground. But yeah, backing up,
Yeah.
it was like I kind of that's kind of what I thought of at CDL school, like learning the parallel park. It was like, it's like a real life Rubik's cube, and then when you get to some of these intricate locations or different docks, different places in the open deck and flatbed world, like obviously you don't get a you're just pulling into some yard, and then you're either taking off the gooseneck or you're backing it. Like, it's pretty easy flatbed. You're not doing a
Yeah.
lot of, that's like a common trope. Flatbedders don't know how to back because you're not bumping docks. But like
Yeah.
the idea of it being like, it removes the stress from it when you look at it like when you gamify it, when you're backing up and you look at it like a challenge, like you want to take it on almost like a physical challenge. That's why I always tell people, like, dude, you want to stay in shape, just keep races on your calendar. It's like, you want to keep getting better at backing, keep going to New York City. You're going to become the freaking best in the business.
Exactly. That is a fact. I tell you, man, in the beginning, I definitely wasn't as good as I am now, and that's what I like to tell everybody. Like, a lot of people ask me, like, how do you get better at backing? And like, can you help me with it? This, that, and yada yada. And they're like, your videos help me so much with learning how to back. I'm like, your best way to learn is via experience. Like, that's the only way. That's the best way to do it, is just getting your experience. You'll get better. I remember when I first started with Hirschbach, I went to California at this meat place, and I had no idea. I was not that good at backing. I asked these 2 ladies that were driving a team truck. I was like, "Can y'all give me a hand and help me back up?" And I wasn't so, like, when I see somebody who needs help or something like that, or drivers getting upset about it, I'm like, we've all been there before. We don't just get in the game and we know how to back perfectly. So yeah, it's one of them situations.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who's playing Major League Baseball has, I mean, how many swings have they taken at bats? And I mean, like, what is that? I mean, if you've got over a .3 batting average, like you're kind of in the Hall of Fame or something. Like, what's that famous line? And that means, I mean, you're striking out 7 out of 10 times when you think about it. So it's like,
Exactly.
yeah, when it comes to nobody ever starts out great. What it's taken
Exactly.
for people to gain elite status. Well said on that. And I can't lie, when it comes to your videos specifically, I mean, those backing videos are like ASMR. That's one of those, like, those are the videos. I mean, they can rack up views because a 60-year-old mother, like, sitting at home, like who's just like on TikTok is going to find that and be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it!" Like it's one of those like because when it comes to trucking and social media, there's like has its own niche on TikTok and on Instagram and YouTube. Like it's definitely its own like corner of the internet. But there's a certain threshold of content in trucking that kind of like breaks that fourth wall, and like those backing videos because that's because it for some reason it breaks the fourth wall of like non-trucking people to see that content, and it just like enters into their algorithm because it's that because like it's something that they randomly will think about during the day, like, oh my god, what must it be like to back this up in New York City? So it's like the perfect niche, but freaking explodes outside of those algorithms that sets you off, and they're great, man.
Oh yeah, that's the fact. Yep, especially those parts authority backs, man. Anytime I post those, they get hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of views. And I and the cool thing is that one guy I did that one video, so you can make money on this stuff too. And that's another thing. Honestly, it was kind of a blessing that my Facebook got deleted because I had like 30,000 followers on there, and now I have like 13,000. I'm regaining them all back, but for some reason I wasn't able to earn. Now I'm able to earn, and that video that I got, it's at 9.4 million now. I made like $1,500 on that video, which is, I mean, if anybody wants to make content, go for it, man. I don't. A little extra income doesn't hurt. And so the one guy was a part of the video, Mike, the one that was like spotting me in the video or whatever. And I kind of like asked if anybody can find him. They found him, and he found my video. And I just me being the person I am, since he was part of the video, I kind of hooked him up with some of the money from the earnings of that. So I've just always been that kind of guy, man.
Dude, love that. That's freaking
Yeah.
let anybody know that big fat trucking's for everybody.
Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah. I do want to shift gears a little bit. Talk about, I mean, you entered in the industry in 2018. You went, you've been over the road essentially your whole career. I mean, what's parking looked like for you? What was that like going out over the road as you just, when you were, because I just remember trying to find parking my first load going from Irving to Montebello, California. It's scaring me. What's parking been like for you? And when was the first time you had heard about us at Truck Parking Club?
Oh man, anybody who's a truck driver knows, even to this day, it's just very difficult to find. I spend most of my nights at rest areas or on and off ramps. I despise parking at truck stops because, no disrespect, but I've seen my fair share of trucks next to me and just in the vicinity get hit by other trucks, so I stay away from truck stops. Um, yeah, parking, man. Oof, I've had plenty of times where I was parked on an on or off ramp, and then all of a sudden I get a knock in the middle of the night from a police officer or something, telling me, you got to move, and I'm just like, man, I'm on my 10-hour break. I'm not hurting anybody here, and y'all don't really have enough parking. They don't care. So, I got to go on PC and kind of get the officer's name just in case later on down the road. And sometimes they're nice enough to tell me, oh, there's a place over here you can park, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, truck to this day, man, it, if you're able to get up early in the morning and start driving so you can find something like 3 or 4 o'clock in the day, but it never works like that as an owner operator with one trailer because you're constantly getting offloaded in the morning and getting loaded during the day. So I'm going to be stopping at like 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night when there's no parking available. So, so I know we all know that struggle. It's funny story how I found Truck Parking Club. I was living in Midlothian last year, and I needed a place to park my truck. I lived right by the Loves, but the Loves right across the street in Midlothian. I'm pretty sure some people are familiar with where that's at. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of parking my truck at truck stops, so I found this one place in Mansfield, and it was ran by this company. And then also, that's when I like noticed it was like Truck Parking Club too. I'm like, what is that? So at first, I went through him. I went through the man to park my truck there. I went through his company or whatever, and then like later on, I went through Truck Parking Club because it was actually cheaper because of all the, get such and such amount off. I was doing the monthly thing, not daily. It was like monthly parking at the time, and then And yeah, yeah, that's really how I found out about y'all. And then there's been times when I know I'm at a family members or something, and I don't really know the area or all the secret spots per se. So I use it there. I used it recently over there in Minneapolis, Minnesota, to go to my best friend's mother's funeral in Texas. It's nice to have, man. I use it over there in Seattle whenever I was looking at houses because I'm planning on moving over that way. Yeah, it's a genius idea, honestly. Honestly, I want to buy at some point after I buy this house, I want to buy a lot myself and probably like do some truck parking with trucks around my general area because not on there's nothing around the area that I want to live. So yeah, yeah, but I mean, it's such it was a genius idea to do that, man. It's kind of like Airbnb for truck drivers, almost in a sense.
Yeah,
So that's how I found. Yeah.
yeah. It says it right on our tent at any shows we go to, and I could tell you, you wouldn't be alone in being a trucking company who begins to offer truck parking. Some of those, we had a great time at Iowa 80, last month where we and the Texas Trucking Show where we've met. We've got to link up with several of our property members who also are motor carriers, like they own trucking companies, and what a difference maker it's been for them. They've got to meet the drivers who park at their locations, guys who live in the area. Again, like as you said, like some of these places where the trucking company would be, there wouldn't be any parking. And if there's drivers who live in that area, they're parking 30, 45 minutes away from where they live, to,
Mm-hmm.
to get home, and a spot's opened up. And a place like the Pacific Northwest, I can tell you, is definitely a spot I mean, it's a pain point anywhere, no matter where you go. There's not a corner of the country where I don't think truck parking is affected. The newsletter, we cover some great states, but it's really still, and where Texas is kind of a decent state for truck parking in general. It's so big. I mean, and there's so many trucks in Texas alone. I mean, even this corridor, the
Mm-hmm.
35 corridor from New Braunfels all the way to north of Austin, it's just like they keep building warehouses. And when you have hundreds and thousands of new doors at these warehouses, there's more trucks that are going to come, and the parking spots aren't going to keep up. So yeah, it's been phenomenal to connect, especially now that we've grown. We're at over 6,200 locations, and especially just this year, we've been able to connect with at shows from Mid America and Shell Super Rigs, going to these events and hearing the firsthand accounts of how it's been just a differentiator, just to improve the quality of life of guys who've, again, you attended a funeral, people who have gone to weddings, parked near family members. I mean, there's been these countless anecdotes of people where as you said, it just came in handy, and it's something that didn't exist 3 years ago for guys. So it's been good. It's been great to see.
I agree.
Now, when it comes to, because I don't want to take up your whole night, I know you've got some stuff ahead of you. Your truck's getting fixed, so I know you got to take on that issue. But if you can, to anybody who's listening, if they're new to the industry, if they're thinking about getting their CDL, what is your words of wisdom to somebody who says, you know what, Steven, I really want to get into trucking. What's your advice?
Want me to be honest about that?
Yeah,
Oh my God, man.
yeah. You can give the raw honesty, or you can get like, because I know this. We had on OTR Bandit the other day, and he's like, man, don't get into it. He sounded like my grandfather when he said it. He says, don't get into it. Stay away.
Okay, so I wouldn't be the first. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, if my advice is if you're gonna do it, do local. Don't do over the road, man. It's just, especially if you have a family. If you don't have a family, over the road would be perfect for you. But if I had a family, which I don't, if I had kids, there's no amount of money that can exchange the amount of time I would be. I mean, you can't put a price on being around with family all the time. So that would be my advice. If you're going to do it, like go with a company that does local work, like do local. It's probably going to pay you just as much, if not slightly better, even possibly than over the road would. I don't know, understand why people like go with big companies over the road. I've talked to a lot of people who are brand new, and they tell me how much they make, and I'm just like, yeah, they're on the road 7 days a week, making as much as they can make locally. Honestly, it's crazy to me. And then at the same time, they have families. I have a good friend of mine who decided to finally take the jump and do local because he just had a kid, and I'm like, man, I'm happy you did that, man, because the over the road is not. It's not worth it unless you're an owner operator. Then you can make some really good money doing it. I mean, if you did have a family, but like my advice is to, if you have a family, do local. Like, do local. If you don't have a family, do over the road. And make sure if you do decide to do over the road, make sure you're watching your health, because I've been on an up down roller coaster myself, and it goes quick. The up part goes quick. Like, you can get fat real quick if you get off your game. So yeah. Like, if you do decide to go over the road, man, watch your health, man. Try to get a dog so you can walk a lot during the day to help him go to the bathroom and all that stuff. Get a pair of adjustable dumbbells like I have in my truck. Get up in the morning like I do most days. There's some days I miss, but get up in the morning. What I do is I do hit high intensity interval training. I sprint the length of the truck, walk, sprint, walk. I walk around a couple of times to warm up, and then I do that. And then every time you stop, man, another thing I can say is, I told you, do like 15 to 25 squats every time you stop before you go out, or before you start driving again, either or. But yeah, like, watch your health. If you have a family, don't do over the road. It's not worth it. It's not worth none of that money, unless you're making like 5,000 to 6,000 a week. Then I can kind of get it, but it's not worth the money missing out on time with the family. And another thing, if you do decide to, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask questions or ask veterans for help with backing or anything like that. Like I said, we've all been there before. I've done it before myself when I started in 2018, especially when they sent me to Los Angeles. Jeez, man, I was oof. Nope. I remember there was a time where I would never go to the Northeast, and then my friend that I told you I ran under his authority, he was like, I got a logo into Brooklyn and it's making a lot of money, and I'm just like, let's do it. So yeah, just don't be afraid to ask people for help. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be too prideful. So, I mean, if anybody asked me, I would be more than happy to help them. So yeah, that's what I got to say for people trying to get a CDL. Don't do it.
That's good. But if they do it, try to get something local. But no, those are some good wise words. I kind of want to pick up on that, because you recommend going local. And I'd say also where you live matters. If you live in the middle of Montana, local jobs may not exist,
Yeah, true.
or they're not hiring. So it's definitely, situation always dictates. So establish where if you want to enter this industry, if you want to be a business owner, where you live also matters. Where you want to drive, where you're willing to go, like all of that goes into it. As I've said before, when it comes to starting a business in trucking, like, you're not going to open up a surf shop in Joliet, Illinois, or Effingham, Illinois. You're not going to sell a lot of surfboards in Effingham, Illinois. And if you
True.
same thing. And if you want to start a trucking company and you want to be home every weekend, living in Utah might not be the best for you, because
Right.
it's hard to get in and out of Utah. So all those things there's multiple. Even just getting your CDL, you kind of need to underwrite what your future is going to be. But those are some wise words. And you said you're willing to help some people out if they got any questions. Where can the people find you if they want to get a hold of you?
Oh yeah, Instagram. I mean, I'm the type of person that I try to respond to every message that I possibly can, which is probably not the smartest thing, because sometimes my anxiety levels get so high because of just like all the mental stimulation from everything that I do. But yeah, it's a Big Fag Trucking LLC underscore. That's and then Stephen Fag on on Facebook. So that's probably the best way. But Instagram is probably the best way to get a hold of me. But yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind answering questions. If there's some questions out there, man, please hit me up.
Absolutely. And for the record, for anybody listening, that is his real name. So you can go out and find him there. But dude, appreciate you coming on. First time, won't be the last time. Looking forward to catching up as we head into the back half of 2026. Wish you well with everything going on with your truck. To everybody else who tuned into us live, which quick shout out to real quick to Robert Stenta, commented there on Facebook. He said, he actually said, quote, "Is this really live? I doubt it." It is live. You can catch the Clubhouse.
It's very live.
Yes, very live. We typically go live around 7:30 Central Time Monday. Sometimes it changes with travels and shows and coming up. So we'll be live next Monday. But next week, also want to let you guys know we're going to be at the National Truck Driving Championships in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So if you're in the Pittsburgh area and you want to come out, you want to say what's up, and you want to see some of the best drivers in the country compete and go at it for national championships, we will be in Pittsburgh next week. So excited to be talking about that. But we will be back here next Monday night, 7:30 p.m. And again, to anybody who was watching the last 40 minutes, Stephen Fagg is an individual who does want to help leave this industry better than he found it. You could see that in his content with how seriously he takes backing up and he takes pride in his job. That's exactly what we do at Truck Parking Club. We want to help leave this industry better than we found it. That's why we help truckers save time and fuel by being able to instantly reserve truck parking nationwide. And if you guys need truck parking tonight, you can go to truckparkingclub.com. You can use that promo code BIG FAGG20 for $20 off your next booking. That's all lowercase. But with that, guys, stay safe. We'll be back next week. Hammer down.